Hey, Dave Stallman here, and I want to do a little review of what we learned last week. So we are going to be talking about equations of parabolas in standard, factored, and vertex form. So, for example, if we have an equation like y equals x squared plus 2x minus 15, this is standard form, and we know that gives us the y-intercept at 0, negative 15. And then what we can do is we can take this equation and factor it. So we can take the x squared plus 2x minus 15, and let's see, we can find two numbers that multiply to negative 15 and add to 2 and solve. X equals negative 5, x equals 3, and these give us the x-intercepts, which would be at negative 5, 0, and 3, 0. So that's the first two parts. And then lastly, we can take the standard form and we can complete the square to put it in vertex form. And you'll remember we take the coefficient in front of the x, we divide by 2 and square it and add that to both sides. So in this case we'd get y plus 16. When we factor that, it's x plus 1 times x plus 1. We can subtract the 16 and oops, I didn't want to do that. X plus 1 squared minus 16. And this number give us the vertex, which would be at negative 1, negative 16. So with all that information, we can graph the parabola. So we know 0, negative 15, we know negative 5, 0, and we know 3, 0, and we know negative 1, negative 16, and the parabola looks like that. Okay? Now, one last thing. We haven't really talked about that in class yet, but there's the vertex. And another way to look at the vertex or this equation is as a translation of the vertex from the origin. You might hear this terminology sometimes where you might hear it's a parabola where the vertex has been translated 1 to the left and 16 down. And that would just mean that from the origin you went 1 left and 16 down, and that's the vertex. Okay? So last thing, y equals x plus 1 squared minus 16. This is a specific form for this parabola, but the general form looked like this. Y equals a, x minus h squared plus k. This was for up and down parabolas. The h and the k give you the vertex, and then this a value tells you whether it goes up or down. And if you do a equals 1 over 4c, that gives you the focal length. We're not going to worry about that too much more. Okay, I said that was the last thing, but it's not. So I want to do one more thing. What happens if you're given the vertex form like this. Y equals x minus 7 squared minus 1. And now you want to go from vertex back to factored and back to standard form. Well, the way that you would do that is you just multiply this out and combine like terms. So this is the same as x minus 7 minus 1. And you can distribute and then combine like terms. There we go. And so now you have the standard form, and then you can take that and put it in the factored form. The other thing that might happen is, what if you are given the factored form, like y equals x minus 1, x plus 3, and you want to get the other two forms, the vertex and the standard. Well, again, what you would have to do is multiply this out and combine like terms. And there's the standard form, and then you could also complete the square to get it in the vertex form. So I think that's it for today. I look forward to your feedback, and keep doing good math.